Good morning, all. Today, through this video, we will try to understand what is communication, what are the basics of communication. So, we will understand now what is communication. Now, as we can see, communication is a word of Latin origin, that is, communis, which means to make things common or to share with others. Now, every day we cry, we laugh, we share the information, we write down the letters, we pass on the emails, we talk with each other, we interact with other, we chit chat. So all this process is a part of communication. All the living beings on this world, it may be birds, it may be animals, or it may be human beings, we are continuously interacting with each either verbally or non-verbally, that is with the help of words or with the help of our body language, gestures or postures. So we can say that communication is nothing but transmission or exchange of information, ideas or feelings by the means of sounds, symbols or signs. Now, what are the objectives of communication? The first objective is to transfer the ideas. Now, as I told you, every human being, every living being continuously interact with each other. So, whatever ideas we have with us, we need to communicate it with others so that we can explore our ideas, we can share our thoughts to others. Now, the second objective of communication is to interact with the society. As we all know, man is a social animal. We cannot remain isolated from the society. We are always surrounded by our friends, family, colleagues, employees, and we continuously keep on interacting with these people in different ways. We may be giving instructions, we may be giving the orders, we may be writing letters. In any form, we are continuously interacting with the society, and that is what the second objective of communication is. The third objective of communication is to educate or to train people. At the age of 5 itself, we start learning. Before that also, we are learning many things from our friends, we are learning many things from our family. All these things comes to us with the help of communication. As we all know, man is a learner throughout his life, so we keep on educating ourselves, we keep on updating ourselves with the help of communication. At the same time, to train our employees, we have to communicate with them. So that is what the objective of communication is. The next objective is to keep oneself updated. Now, as we all know, what is the current situation? We all are surrounded by a pandemic, that is COVID-19. And to remain updated about this situation, we need to communicate with each other. We get lot of information about the pandemic situation with the help of social media, with the help of newspaper, television. We interact with each other to get the information, and this is the way we keep updated ourselves about the current situation. So to remain updated is possible with the help of communication. Next thing is to in to keep entertaining or to get entertained. That is also possible with the help of communication. We see different videos, we listen to music, we see different movies, we play games. All this is a part of communication. Next is to understand the world. We can only understand the world with the help of communication. If we don't communicate, it is difficult for us to remain updated and to understand the world. So these are the objectives of communication. Now, very importantly, we need to understand the process of communication. We are continuously interacting with each other, and because of which we don't understand that we are following a particular process. Now, these are different steps that is being followed in communication process. The two main component of communication process are the sender and the receiver. Now sender is a person who sends the message or who sends the ideas or transfer the ideas. Now in this case I am a sender. I am sending you the message or I am giving you the message about communication. Now the second step in communication is to encode the message. Now what is encoding? Encoding is conversion of ideas or the thoughts that are there in my mind in form of words. For example, if an idea comes to my mind, let's plan for a trip. This is the idea I am having in my mind. I would convert it into the words and then I will pass on the message to my friends. So that is what is the third step, that is converting my ideas into the message, and that would be then passed on to the receiver in the form of a channel. Now channel can be anything. It may be a email, it may be a text message, it can be passed on orally, it can be passed on verbally. So you can choose any channel depending upon the requirement, depending upon the given conditions. Now once that message is passed, it would be received by a receiver. Now for example, if I am planning for a trip, that message would be passed on to my friend and the receiver in this case would be my friend. Now that message would be passed to my friend, then he or she would decode that message. Now decoding is understanding the message whatever is being sent by the sender. Now again decoding process differs depending upon the receiver. Now it depends upon the knowledge of the receiver, it depends upon the time, it depends upon the background or the history of the receiver, what he or she has, what information that individual have. Depending upon that the message would be decoded. Now very importantly, after decoding you need to send a feedback. Unless or until the feedback is being sent to the sender, the communication process won't be completed. Now in this case, if my message would be, or if I have passed on the question to my friend that are you willing to come to trip with me, the feedback would be either in the form of yes or no. So whatever message my friend would be passing to me in the form of feedback, that is going to complete the communication process. So this is what the communication process is. Now we need to understand what is the need of effective communication. That means how we can make the communication effective or why we need to have a communication. The first is to build an effective team. Now when we are working in a team, the basic thing we need to do is to communicate with each other or to interact with each other. Unless and until we interact with each other, we communicate with each other, it is difficult for us to share our thoughts or to express our opinions. So if we want to have an effective team, we need to understand each other, and that understanding is possible only through communication. Second need is to facilitate innovation. Now, innovation is creating something new, and that is only possible when we communicate with each other, when we try to understand the world, when we keep ourselves updated, we can find out different ideas and accordingly we can innovate the things. So that is the need of effective communication. Next thing is to build and maintain relationship. Firstly, we can develop the relations with others only with the help of communication. Unless we communicate, we cannot understand the individual, and unless we understand the individual, we cannot maintain or we cannot develop a relationship with that individual. So firstly, we need to communicate to build a relationship, and once we have built the relationship, we have to maintain that relationship, and that is only possible when we continuously keep on communicating with individuals. Next is to manage employees. Now the employees can be managed with the help of communication. Now what we can do is, to manage our employees, we need to give them the instructions, we can take their feedback, we can involve them in the group discussion, and this is the way we can keep them employees engaged, and we can keep them managed. Next is to contribute to the growth of company. Now, when it comes to organization cannot be run by a single individual. Organization is made of people, for the people, and by the people. So a company's growth is only possible when the people would grow, and people would grow only through the communication. If we don't communicate, we don't give our feedback, we don't give the instruction, we don't communicate with each other, if there is no message passing from higher level to lower level, or if there is no feedback, no suggestions going from lower level to higher level, it is difficult for a businessman to run the organization. So if we need to grow our organization, the basic thing required is to communicate with each other. Next important thing is to ensure transparency. Now we can maintain transparency everywhere. It may be in our family, it may be in society, it may be in company, only through communication. If we don't communicate, it is going to create misunderstanding, and it is difficult for us to maintain the relations also, to grow our company also, and we cannot maintain the transparency. So very importantly, we have to continuously keep on interacting if we need to build the relationship, to grow our company, to grow our society, and to maintain the transparency. Now, how we can make the communication effective, that is what principles we can follow, or what principles we have to follow so that we can make the communication effective. The very first principle is clarity of message. Whatever message a sender wants to send, that should be very clear. It should not be confusing, it should not be ambiguous, that is, it should not create any confusion in the minds of the receivers. Now, very importantly, words express less than the message which is passed on by a sender. So how we are sending the message depends upon that, what would be the message that would be passed to a receiver. Second thing, message should be in a systematic order. Very importantly, what channel we are following, whether we are following a written communication, oral communication, or non-verbal communication, whatever message we have to pass, that should be in a systematic way. That is, proper order should be maintained for writing the message. Next is suitability of message. Now, whatever message we have to send, it depends upon whom we are addressing or whom we are communicating. We cannot be talking about world war, we cannot be talking about the pandemic situation to a child of 1 or 2 years, because he or she won't be understanding what we are trying to communicate. So depending upon our audience, we should choose the message that should be passed on. Next is consistency of message. Very importantly, we should be firm about the words what we have said earlier, or we should be consistent about the rules and regulation or the procedure that is being followed in our organization. It should not be against the procedure or the rules of our organization or the words which we have said earlier. So very importantly, consistency should be maintained. Next is brevity. Brevity is being brief about your communication. We should be very specific while communicating. Instead of communicating wrongly we should be very specific about the message that should be passed on to the receiver. Next is, we should be selecting the proper mode of communication. Now, depending upon whom we are addressing, the public we are having, the number of people we are going to communicate, we are going to choose the communication mode. That is, if there is a single person, we can have the oral communication, or we can go for face-to-face communication. But if we need to pass on the message to a large public, we can use different mode. For example, we can use social media, we can make the use of television, we can make the use of newspaper. So depending upon the public or number of people, we have to choose the proper mode. It can be verbal communication, or it can be non-verbal communication. It can be in the form of written communication or oral communication. Next is selection of appropriate time. Now, as we all know, time has its own importance. If we enter the class late, it is possible that a teacher may not allow us to enter the class. If we arrive at bus station or the our station, there is a chance that we are going to miss our bus or we are going to miss our train. So time has got its own importance. Similarly, the message should be passed on to the receiver at the correct time. Late message sent won't be having any message, or it would be meaningless. Next principle is courtesy. Courtesy is being polite. Now whenever we are communicating, we should be very polite to the receiver. Next is appropriate use of non-verbal communication. Now whenever we are communicating verbally, or for example when we are having the oral communication, we are also using the non-verbal communication also. For example, if I am using the words in the form of oral communication, I am also using my body language. Even my facial expressions are being studied by the receiver. So my words and my expressions should match, and that is what is appropriate use of non-verbal communication. Next principle is being clear and simple. Whatever message I have to pass, that should be very clear and it should be simple. For example, there should not be the use of jargons. Jargons are the technical words. For example, if I am using the medical terms, it would be clearly understood by a medical student, but that would be difficult for a commerce student, or that would be difficult for the engineering background student to understand. So whatever message I have to pass, that should be very simple. And very importantly, we should be our message should be persuading one. That is, whatever message we are sending, that should be convincing to the receivers. So if we follow all this principle, definitely we would be having an effective communication. Now very important, what are the types of communication? Now depending upon different bases, the communication is divided into different types. The first basis of communication is the method or the media or the expression which we are using. Depending upon that, communication is divided into two different types. First is verbal communication and second is non-verbal communication. Now verbal communication of words. So it can be done either orally or it can be done in form of written communication. When we write down the letters, when we write down the email, it is a part of verbal communication, which is a written communication. And when we are interacting with each other face to face, or when we are conducting the lectures, or when we are having the public speech, it is a part of oral communication in which we are using words. Second is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication means we are not using the words for communicating. Again, non-verbal communication is of different type. First is visual communication. Now visual communication is using different pictures, graph, diagrams to communicate. Second is audio method. For example, we are just using the audio method. For example, when we dial or when we call somebody, now in this situation, you get a message about COVID or the pandemic situation. So that is the audio communication. Third is audio visual communication. Now what is audio visual communication? For example, when the PPT presentation is being done by a teacher in a classroom, that is audio visual. That is, visual is also there and teacher is also explaining about the PPT. So that is audio visual communication. Next is gesture communication. Gesture includes everything, that is our body language. We can communicate a lot with the help of our body language. The expressions, eyes, smile, each and everything is a part of gesture communication. Now if we are angry, that is clearly seen with our frown face. If we are happy, the smile on our face communicates everything. We are using body language. If we keep on biting our nails, that shows that we are nervous. So all this is a part of gesture communication. So we are not using the word and still we are communicating a lot to other. Next is passive communication. Passive communication is when the audience are just listening and they are not giving the feedback. That is passive communication. Next is communication through action. The best example for this is when we play a Damsharas, in which through our actions we explain about the movie. So we are not using the words and still we are communicating with other. Now the second classification depends upon the flow of information. So depending upon the flow of information, communication is divided into three different types, that is horizontal, vertical and crosswise communication. Now what is horizontal communication? When the communication takes place between the people of the same level, that is known as horizontal communication. For example, when the teachers of commerce departments are interacting with each other, communicating each other, that is horizontal communication. Vertical communication is divided into two different types depending upon the flow of information. Either it can be a upward communication or it can be a downward communication. Now vertical communication can be upward communication when the information passes from lower level to higher level. For example, when a teacher communicates to the principal of the college, that is upward communication. Or when the message passes from principal to the teacher, that is downward communication. The third type is crosswise communication. For example, HOD of Commerce Department is interacting or passing on the message to the HOD of Computer Science Department, that is the part of crosswise communication. The third basis of communication is organizational relationship. Now from our childhood itself, that is from our school days itself, we have been writing two types of letter, that is formal letter and informal letter. So what is formal communication? It is a communication in which we follow a particular channel or when we follow a particular procedure to pass on the message, that is known as formal communication. For example, if a students want to have a 2-day leave, that student cannot directly approach to a principal with leave application. He or she has to follow a particular channel. The application would be passed on to the teacher or the class coordinator. Class coordinator would then pass on the message to the HOD and then HOD would pass on the message to the principal. So the student is following a proper channel for communicating about his leave application. So that is known as formal communication. And informal communication is when we don't follow any channel, we chit chat with anybody we feel with, that is informal communication. We talk to our friends, we talk to our colleagues, so that is informal communication. So we have seen different types of communication depending upon different bases. So in this video we understood what is communication, what is the need of effective communication, how we can make our communication effective with the help of different principles. We have seen what are the objectives of communication and very importantly which are the different communication that we use to interact with the society. Thank you.